Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El, and today what we're going to go over with is the #1 request I got. A lot of you guys contacted me and told me on, our channel covers an array of things, mostly Nintendo Switch games and tech reviews and all kinds of stuff like that, but we also do a lot of troubleshooting videos as well, as I showed you guys. And right now, one of the #1 requests were, Lior, why? Why is my computer freezing? Why is it shutting off? Why is it the blue screen of death? Why is the computer not turning on? We're going to go over everything here in this video. As you saw in the other videos, I'm glad a lot of you guys, gave feedback on that, and it helped a lot of you guys out. Some of you guys it didn't. So I wanted to encapsulate it in one big video to show you guys exactly what's going on with your computer. That's most likely the issue, okay? So we're going to talk about every little issue that it could be and what you need to do to troubleshoot this and to get your computer up and running and nice, cooled, and everything like that, okay? I'm going to tell you all about it right now, so let's get right into it. Issue #1. In order for you guys, of why it's getting stuck, the issue #1 is dust. Now, a lot of people, I remember when I do, computer repair for just about anybody who gives it to me. I do it for the firehouses near us, as a volunteer, but I also do it for a lot of people who get, they basically commission me to do it. And the #1 issue, and a lot of people take it for granted, they're like, oh, it's nothing. It's dust. Okay, most of us don't have our computers on top of a table. We always keep it in the bottom, okay, which we're going to get to another issue that's coming due to that. But one of the major issues is dust. And even if you have it on top, eventually what happens is those fans suck in dust, especially if you do a good setup, whether you have good cooling or bad cooling. Either way, it's going to affect it, and I'll explain to you why. In the fans, the dust are going to go into one of the bearings, and they're going to damage something to the point that it's not running at the full RPM, the rotations per minute, that it's supposed to. And what happens is it's not cooling it as it used to before, or it doesn't even cool it at all. Eventually seeping right into your it could happen into your graphics card, where your graphics card, usually the fans are, pointing downwards, so you can't even see what's there. So you don't maintain it, and it could get a lot of dust to the point that it's not cooling, the GPU, and it ends up freezing. Your chip freezes. It ends up closing and everything like that, okay? So what happens is it ends up damaging stuff. Even the water cooler, I showed some people how dust could even affect the water cooling unit to the point that it even breaks it. It really could actually break it. I don't even know how the heck dust could do that, right? But unfortunately, one of the things where there was stuff caught, whether it be in the actual water itself, in the liquid coolant, there was issues, or sometimes even dust happens to seep in. I have no idea how, and it actually damaged it to the point is where I just removed it and put it back on, and it worked once I cleaned the dust right off, which is ridiculous because it's not even a fan. So dust is a big issue. Okay, and I'm telling you, you guys are going to regret it if you don't maintain it. I like to take apart my computer every year, take it completely apart, clean it professionally. We're talking, air duster cans and all that. And you guys want to save some money? This is what I did, because I had to do it for so many people. Trust me, this thing only costs 15 bucks. Okay, you hook it up with a cord. You don't have to worry about a charger thing. It's CompuCleaner.com. This will save you a ton of freaking money. This works on your keyboard as well. It has all kinds of, you see add-ons and stuff like that you could put even with a brush and all that. And you turn it on to 2 different speeds, high or low. And this thing will be amazing. It makes your cat or your dog go crazy and run away and scared, which is a big plus. No, I'm kidding. I love animals. But what I'm saying is it will clean your system out. It will help it out, especially what I do. If you guys see the way I made it, I made my computer like a freaking air condition in there. It's really good, really cool. And the way I do it is by dusting it with this baby right here. It blows out the dust, Too bad it doesn't suck it out, right? But who cares? It blows it out, and you could clean it. Take out each of your parts every year and just clean it, and you'd be amazed at what it could do. Another thing is the dust could go into the power supply. It screws with with the power supply as well, to the point that it destroys the power supply. And once it gets destroyed, obviously that's why you're getting that drop in voltage, and that's why it's closing. That's why it's happening, all these horrible things due to overheating. Okay, so that is a major, major concern that you got to take a look at. Okay, so dust is a big, big issue that is being totally overlooked, and nobody even thinks anything of it. They're like, oh, well, I went to a computer in my job. It's been completely not maintained, especially in Wall Street. I remember when I had to put the computers and all the stuff together when I was an IT tech there, and you kind of see everything that's going on there, but then people are saying it's all dusty and stuff, and yes, it was dusty, and guess what? Their computers cannot run the things you're running. It runs things that require very low graphics, very low stuff, so it doesn't require that much power from a beefed up thing. And if it dies, believe it or not, and a lot of those computers dies, you might not think it does, but it does, and you have IT people like myself who have to replace them, and you'd be surprised. Most of the time, it's the fans that are kicking out. Most of the time, it's the power supply that's kicking out, and that is due to that simple fact that it's dust. So let's get right into that. Make sure you maintain your system and get one of these systems there. It's going to save you a ton of money. Or get air can, those air spray cans or whatever, condenser cans, whatever, and just blow the hell out of that thing. Make it clean and be ready to go. Issue number 2, thermal paste. Oh my God. Nobody even thinks about that, right? So thermal paste, what basically happens is, especially, oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've resurrected computers by simply, and this is the truth, the CPU thermal paste usually goes a little bit bad or whatever, and you could replace it after a year or two. I recommend doing it again every year. Just maintain it. But if you don't want to do it, you don't really have to worry much about the CPU until a couple of years go by. The GPU, believe it or not, it'll start to overheat, and you're like, what the hell? Oh, maybe the games are better now, it requires more. Maybe that's why my thing is flaking on me. It's turning into the blue screen of death. All the time it gets caught, and it gets stuck, and it's just not working. What's going on here? Maybe my GPU is my graphics card is dead, and I got to get another one right now and spend $800 to $1,000 for a new card. No, guys, you'd be surprised how many times I resurrected it. What you got to do is take apart very slowly. Take the fans out. Okay, take everything out and you reapply thermal paste into that baby, and you're going to see that your GPU will run cooler, run great, run well. Again, get rid of the dust on the fans, and you will see a complete change, and it will work again if you didn't fry it. Okay, that all depends because of the heating situation. I resurrected so many computers just doing that. So when you re-put thermal paste, take out your cooler from the CPU, reapply on the CPU thermal paste, and you're gonna really dig to, you're gonna see a big change. You're gonna see that your computer is back to normal and resurrected if it's broken or not, and that is a major issue that people need to take a look at, because if there's overheating issues, you will get the blue screen of death, you will get those restarts, you will get those hang-ups. So that's another reason that you should troubleshoot. Issue number 3, power supply. So the power supply, we went over the heat, the dust on it and all of that stuff. And also a major thing is heat and all that other thing included. But what happens is a lot of people, they get these beefed up computers, they build computers. They're not really, they're not really knowledgeable too much into, they know how to build it, but they're not knowledgeable too much of what they need. They're just told, okay, get a graphics card. The first thing they do, they get a powerful graphics card, but their power supply is underpowered. Now, some people, it doesn't even turn on because it's underpowered. So the computer will not turn on until you unplug your graphics card, and lo and behold, it'll work. Some, it will power on. And then guess what'll happen? Because it needs more voltage, it needs more power. What happens is when it doesn't deliver that kind of power, you start having the blue screen of death, you start having hang-ups, and eventually you start having complete failure and it just won't turn on again, or it just keeps shutting off on you. That is a sign that the power supply is bad, usually, that it's done because it's not giving enough power and doesn't turn on. You have to click the back, wait about 20 seconds, click again, sometimes pull the, pull the cable out, put it back in, and you're going to see that suddenly it works for a little while. That means your power supply is literally dying. That is, you know, especially if you have to shut it off 20 seconds, turn it back on, pull out the plug. Most likely it's your power supply. So your power supply is not delivering enough juice. And what happens is, especially when you're playing games that demand a lot of juice, and now you guys need to understand also the graphics cards are, you know, usually are not at the real speed that it's advertised to be natively. They actually come out of the factory overclocked, and it requires even more juice. And or if you're overclocking your system, some people don't know what the hell they're doing. They're overclocking their system. They have no idea of anything with voltages and how it works. And what happens is it draws more energy, power, and it doesn't have enough power to feed the system, and therefore shuts off. So the power supply you do need to get. I usually recommend a 1200 watt or high, you know, or higher, 1500, 2000, anything you could get. That, yes, it's expensive, but hello guys, if you're building a gaming machine, be prepared to shell out a ton of money, because that's the way it is. If you want a system that's really, really powerful, now you could get any type of other you know, any other type of system that's, you know, down and play emulators and stuff, and you shouldn't have any issue. But if you're looking into playing games at 4K, high resolution, everything at tip-top, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be hit. If you hear the people clapping in the background and screaming, it's at 7 o'clock. Everybody's saying thank you to the nurses and doctors out there that are contributing time and risking their lives for us. So anyways, you know, God bless them all. I just have to say that. And now let me just say, so that is another issue right there. That is the problem. So power supply. So you need to get to beef up your power supply a little bit more. And yes, you're going to be paying. I recommend Adtech, Thermaltake. Thermaltake is a great company. I have a Thermaltake in my supercomputer that I built that until now, you know, I have like about 7 or something computers. And until now, this one lasted me for over, I'm going to say 7, 8 years. So that's the computer I don't have hooked up to the internet. I do, you know, light gaming on it and just, you know, do kind of editing work on it with my laptop and stuff like that, but not really my beefed up computer. So I still have that, and I still got a powerful, you know, power supply on that. So I definitely recommend that. Look at my how to build a computer video. You'll see the tutorial right there. The power supply is located there. You'll see my review on that. You'll absolutely love it and think it's stunning. And there's obviously better ones out there that are cheap, probably cheaper now. Who knows? But look around. See, I think I got it from Newegg or B&H or something like that. But definitely look around to get the best deal that you could possibly get. Okay, now another reason. Hard drives. I know some of you guys are like, you know, my hard drives, I just got them, I just bought them. If you're getting a regular hard drive, an HDD, to save on money, it's great. I do that all the time for storing and stuff. But movable hard drive, you know, movable parts hard drives, they tend to fail. And when you have, especially like me, I have about 10 drives in my supercomputer. If one of them fails, what you're going to see is a lot of hang-ups, the blue screen of death, even though you don't have Windows running on it, because it's trying to recognize it and not you know, and it can't recognize it. It goes through a back and forth to the point that it makes your computer stuck. And eventually what happens is that hard drive dies, and then it kind of becomes like a tooth that's decayed in your mouth. It could only contribute and cause only worse things to your overall health. That's exactly what happens to the computer. It gets the blue screen of death, it gets stuck, and it gets, you know, bad. If you see that you're having issues seeing your hard drive show up or pop up, and sometimes it comes on, sometimes it doesn't, okay, that means your hard drive's about to go bad. The first thing you should do is back it up right away, and then right after you back it up, you try to do away with the drive. Get a docking station like I did. I did a review for y'all on that, and just put it into a docking station, and you could see it right from there. In the end of the video, you'll see all my computer videos there, so you could check it out. But you could put it right in a docking station and just use it as a whatever hard drive that you put things that you already have backed up, but you're just using it for the sake of using it, and you'll see that it'll last you for a little while before it dies out. But I would recommend replacing the hard drive right away, and it'll be great. Now, obviously solid state drives are expensive. They are getting a little cheaper, but they are the way to go, or the stick drives and stuff, and you could get them as well, but they are very expensive. So it is up to you. I like to have 10 terabyte drives and stuff like that working, and doing RAID and all that beautiful stuff on my computer. The thing is, if, you know, I cannot afford, you know, the really expensive ones to get them at the high number that I need it to be, because I have to store a lot. Now, obviously, the higher you get the hard drives, the worse it is, because you could lose more data. So always remember to back up. But that's what I'm saying. You're going to have issues if you have movable parts on your hard drive. If you're getting regular HDDs, they have movable parts. They do go bad. Even, you know, solid state drives. I've had a few repairs to do, and some of these solid state drives, they didn't work. As I did a review, there is a way to take the movable parts apart. I don't recommend it, but I show you guys how to do it in a tutorial that it actually worked, and you can back it up, but I don't recommend, obviously. After that, it'll go bad again. But the the solid state drives can go bad as well. Any type of drive could go bad. And if you're seeing that it does, you know, but it has a higher chance on the movable drives. But if you're seeing that it's not recognized and then it's recognized, you know something is wrong. And because of that tug of war with the system, that freezes up your computer, and that shuts down your entire system. It could cause all kinds of issues. So definitely replace the hard drive on that. So that's another troubleshooting question. Okay, guys, one of my biggest videos that I made was the graphics cards. That is another major issue, is a graphics card going bad. And I showed you guys, or a graphics card that was purposely overclocked. Now, like I told you guys in that video, I'm going to say it here as well. These graphics cards are being marketed at a very high price, and they should get sued for that, because they don't give you the speed that they advertise. But there's a loophole. They do, because what happens is it gets released out of the factory overclocked. And what happens is most of these systems cannot handle it, and most of even the graphics card alone cannot handle it due to the heating issues that it has, unless you get a water, you know, a liquid cooler or something on it directly. You won't be able to achieve that, and what happens is you get these freezes. And you saw most of the people on that video, what did they say? They agree with me. They've done what I told them to do, and it worked for them, okay? Some didn't, because it's obviously other underlying issues that were there. So the majority said it helped them, because that's what it is. It comes overclocked, and because it comes overclocked, what happens is it overheats, it gets your computer to crash, it causes all kinds of issues, especially if you're not equipped to handle 4K and you're putting something on 4K, if it's underpowered or whatever. It is heating up like crazy. There's not enough cooling because it was overclocked from the factory. So what happens is you need to get a program, whatever comes. You could get these third-party programs from, I forgot what it was called, I remember I said it in that video. You could just download it, pretty much Google it. Any type of, in a safe Google page, you know, in safe pages, a third-party developer or whatnot, that you can get a program to lower the speed of your graphics card. Usually NVIDIA has it with all of them. But go ahead and check with MSI and any one of them that you might have that is, you know, a Radeon card or something like that. You could look for ways to decrease the speed back to normal. I usually tell them take it 100 below, and it usually does the trick. Sometimes 250, 200. 300 below, and it eventually works. And you'll see that they overclock it right out of the factory, and that's the major issue. That's why it gets caught. So all you need to do is pretty much lower that, and you should be fine. Now, if there's something totally wrong, like I said, thermal paste is needed if you had it for a while, or the factory made a little issue, you would need to look that, you know, troubleshoot that, see if you need thermal paste on that baby. Monitor, there's a lot of monitoring programs where you can monitor the graphics card's temperature. Make sure it's always on a good temperature, and you should be fine. Now, if the graphics card is going bad, that is another reason. If it's going completely dead, it could be dust in the fans, like I told you, or clean that, do the thermal paste. If it's still not working, and it's still developing, you know, it's not like it was before and you're seeing a big change, most likely there's something wrong with the graphics card, and probably it's dying. That's my dog right there. It's dying, and, you know, you need to look into a replacement of it. Some of them come with a 5-year warranty, some 1 year. You never know. You got to, you know, see what the warranties are. It's very expensive. You don't want to, you know, be caught spending over $1,000 on a graphics card. Another thing I recommend is always when a new graphics card comes out, when you get a graphics card, you should be prepared, especially if you're spending a lot of money on it. Be prepared that every year you need to, every year I recommend selling your old one and getting a new one. Okay, so buying a new one, well, with the intent of selling the new one, of the old one, because if you're waiting too long, that old one is going to be worthless in seconds. I had so many worthless cards that I felt horrible for that I paid $700-800 only because I waited 5 years. If you do it every year, you're going to get the most bang for your buck and get the next edition for a difference that's going to be really cheap. Fortunately, because of those crazy Bitcoin people, those farmers, prices of the graphics cards are going up. So you need to be extremely diligent and extremely proactive with what I'm saying here every year. Okay, guys, now another reason here. So here's another reason. It is the computer cooler. So the computer cooler sometimes goes bad, especially the water cooler. I showed you guys the liquid coolers, how they can go bad. I did a whole video on that, so you guys could check out. It could go bad. It could just have a leak. It could destroy your entire your motherboard, especially if you have it laying down like this and the water goes, unless it's like this sideways, it's the best way to have it because sometimes the water doesn't leak on it and you could save your PC at least from all kind of liquid damage that it could cause, as I showed you guys before. So the motherboard could actually die as of a result from that leakage. But also, if you the fan itself, if you even have a fan on the CPU, if it failed, it will overheat the chip, and what will happen is it will not start. It will close constantly. It will fail constantly. So always remember to monitor temperatures always. That is very, very important, and to make sure all your fans always work and are and there's a lot of programs that can monitor that and are always monitored at the rotations per minute to see if they're weakening. If they're weakening, go ahead and replace that right away, and you shouldn't have a problem. Okay, guys, so here's a big one, cooling. Most of my money was made off of Dell computers. Why? Because their cooling is ridiculously stupid. I don't care if anybody's a Dell fan. It's the absolute truth. I made most of my money in college repairing Dell computers because their cooling was so horrible. You want to have intake fans. You want to have, fans pushing out air, fans pushing in air. You want to have that combination to give your system proper cooling, because when you don't and you have your cooling all messed up, your system gets hot. Your GPU, especially graphics cards, they have ones that have an exhaust in the back while they're encased, so they turn to be hotter. They get hotter, especially in the case where the other ones that are open and they dissipate air, turns to be cooler. But if your whole case is hot, guess what? You're damaging your system. And the way you destroy a system and any type of electronics, heat. Heat cuts the life of any type of electronic device. So when you're seeing things, when you're having issues, always make sure, that's why I say monitor your damn fans. Monitor them. Make sure they're all operating well, no dust, no nothing, and that the cooling is right, that you have external fans, fans pushing out air, fans pushing in air, that you have a combination of that. It'll become like an air condition. It'll become cool in your entire system, and that'll help in cooling your system and making it last that much longer. So finally, the motherboard dying. Yes, it does happen. Static is the #1 cause of almost every motherboard death, I can tell you from my experience. And like I said, most of us keep our computers on the floor. I don't, I have it lifted. But if you keep it on the floor and you don't have anything underneath and you're putting it in a carpet, and you have any type of static electricity that's going to just simply cause a little shock, you're going to bust your motherboard. You're going to bust any type of chip. And that, if you see when they tell you to repair it, always have one of those bracelets and then, that clip that clips onto your computer case. And you'll see why, because it's anti-static guard right there. You don't want to have static, and static is the biggest enemy to any electronic device. You will burn out chips. So that is the final thing right there. You will burn out stuff. You will cause issues to that. So always make sure to look out for that. I know it's not why it's getting stuck. It will destroy your system, but it could make damage on your system slowly, till the point that it deteriorates. And obviously on a carpet, if you're crazy enough to do that, you're, evil Knievel of computers. You're going to have a lot of issues with dust and everything else, that mites and roaches and cucarachas and every kind of thing that's going to come crawling there and destroying your system. You will pretty much do that. So always get something to lift it up. I recommend always to put it on top of a table. That's just me. But if you want to put it down, always have, I did a review for the caddy. You could see I did it because I have a 3D printer and other stuff on my computer on there. So I always put it on a caddy that elevates it all the way up. So you could see that there on one of my computers that there's no issue, and it keeps it nice and clean. And like I said, every year, maintain your damn computer. Take all the parts out, clean them out professionally, with that beautiful thing I showed you right there. And you shouldn't have any problems. You will maintain your computer. It will last a very long time. And when it's time to replace something, you will know you're not going to have to replace the whole damn thing. You'll replace parts here and there. That's all I got to say about that. Hope this video helped you out. As always, self-funded here. I'm not a paid-for reviewer that gets paid to tell you something is good when it's not. Obviously, this is the independent channel. This is the people's channel. And I thank you guys for wanting me to do Patreon services. I love you guys for it. That's not what I'd rather you guys save that money up, give it to charities, or, you know, there's a lot of charities that need work there, or get the technology that I'm reviewing, get the games that I'm reviewing, and you guys can all, buy these techs, new tech and stuff. Use that money to, help your family, stuff like that, instead of giving it to me. I worked 3 jobs to make this happen. Believe me, I got this, and this is the reason I did it, because we together, it's not just me, it's all of us together, are going to give back to the community by bringing honesty. So definitely in the comments down section below, which I call the forum section, join the family, subscribe. But I want to hear down in the comment section below, in the forum section below, I want you to validate what I'm saying. Well, not validate what I'm saying. Tell me if it works. Tell me if it doesn't. Tell me if there's any issues. Like in all the other ones, I answer. A lot of people are surprised I'm answering videos from 4 years ago. Guys, I answer anytime I get a chance. Okay, I don't have that much, time in my life. I don't, but I always make time. Because whether I'm in the bathroom, believe it or not, as disgusting as it sounds, most of the answers I give you guys is either in the toilet or in a waiting room somewhere. So don't even worry about it. Keep those questions coming. Keep the validation coming, or the invalidation coming. Let's together help the community out by giving back to the community to help them make better informed decisions. As always, guys, like, subscribe, hit that bell button. I know a lot of you guys hit the bell button and you said you weren't alerted, and you contacted YouTube and they said we're in a big channel. We're an independent channel. That's why we're growing slowly. So let's do it together. Let's all together make this grow, share it with everybody you know, make our family grow, and let's together give back to the community by helping them make better informed decisions. And let's rock and roll. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye. As always, guys, if you like what you see, self-funded here, be sure to check out all my other stuff, from mini-series to unboxings to technology, and Nintendo reviews and 3D printer reviews and all that good stuff. If you like what you see, the only way you can help the channel is by liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell button. As many more cool videos to come. Definitely want you guys in it, and I want you guys to be vocal. Definitely comment down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.